Hi everyone, and welcome to the channel where we focus on creating lifelong love. For the next 3 videos, I have questions for you, questions that require honesty and vulnerability. Some of you may think, why should I ask these questions in my marriage? They're not applicable and we shouldn't be asking them. I would agree that these questions can be taboo, but I'd like you to consider them anyway, because by considering the difficult questions, it enables us to make changes or take a look at our relationship in ways that we might not have in the past. And it can be helpful. But I will say that these questions I'm about to reveal also can be very difficult depending on your relationship, and that's why we need to remember that this YouTube channel is just one person's opinion, and that you might like to enter a counseling situation or a coaching situation where you have one-on-one focus and emphasis. These videos that I make are made for a general audience, and so I just want to let you know that you proceed with what you're comfortable with. These questions can be answered by yourself or discussed with your partner, and only proceed where it's comfortable. Let's get into the questions. The questions are, would you marry your spouse again? That will be the focus of today's video. The next video is going to be, are you secretly longing for anything? What are you secretly longing for? And the third question is, are you happy in the season that you're in? This is why it's important to subscribe or hit the bell icon, because you will be notified when these videos are released. And these 3 questions go together. So let's jump into today's question. Would you marry your spouse again? Now that's a trick question, isn't it? Because what it implies is, are you happy with your spouse? Would you want your spouse to be different? What would you want to be different? Wow, would I marry my spouse again? Do you see how it puts the blame or the emphasis on your spouse? If you've been following and watching some of my videos, you'll know that I like to have you turn the question onto yourself. Would your spouse marry you again? What do you think? So when we think about this question, we definitely know that over the course of a few decades, things have changed in our relationship. Hopefully, we've grown stronger in our weaknesses, we've worked on our weaknesses, we've learned to overcome ourselves and compromise and make the sacrifices and really endure some hardships over the decades. But when you ask, would you marry your spouse again, it's strange because we can't really go back and look at the wedding day. We were different people then than we are today. We had different needs. I'd like to share with you a story of a friend I had, and we're no longer in touch. As the decades go, we will change in friendships. People will come in and go out of our lives. We will have in our marriage maybe financial problems, change of jobs. Sad to say, there will be deaths in that of loved ones along the years. So things change. Now, the friend was a divorced woman. She was not keen on marriage. She had relationships that ended not to her satisfaction. And she said to me once, Lynn, of everyone I know over 55, nobody would marry the spouse that they married, whether they still stayed married or whether they divorced. And I thought to myself, wow, that's pretty negative. She doesn't know anybody happily married. And it made me think, well, would I marry my spouse again? Would people marry their spouse again? What do they do? What kind of decisions do they make? This is a very difficult question, and one that is worth asking because you have a lot of choice in where you are today. Of course, I advocate lifelong happy marriage. There will be times that you aren't happy, but we can do a lot to strengthen that marriage and to build upon it. Would you marry your spouse again? And do you think your spouse would marry you? Think about that. Have a great day and make your marriage great.
You got me singing, way oh, way oh, oh. You look like a guy who could treat me right. Way oh, way oh, oh. Boy, take a chance, will you